It is Monday night, so let's get right into this. So it is my back night. I just came off of a high carb day, which is Sunday. So my weight is at its absolute highest for the week. So I have the absolute most energy on Mondays. So I put my back night first thing in the week because that is what I think I need the absolute most amount of work on besides everything else. So with that being said, I start off with bent over barbell rows, and I work my way from a set of 12 to a set of 8 to a set of 4, and then I do my top set. The first couple sets, I like to squeeze and pause at the top, getting a nice hard contraction. I don't like to bend all the way over on this movement. You can if you want, but I find that when I bend too far forward, it puts more strain on my lower back. And in reality, whenever it puts that strain on my lower back, I stop feeling it in my lats. I'm able to stop squeezing and I just start straining, trying to stay in that position. So staying a little bit more upright allows me to focus harder on the squeeze in my lats. So this is my first set of rest pause here. I go as many reps as I possibly can get. And then after that, I rest 15 breaths. I go again. I rest 15 breaths, I go again, and then I start doing drop sets. This is the high intensity part of my training for the night. I do a mixture between high intensity and high volume. And I always like to start off with a high intensity movement whenever I'm fresh and I have the absolute most amount of energy. So that way I don't burn myself out trying to do a bunch of volume and then I can't handle a heavy load or I'm worn out. So now I'm weak. And in a certain position, I end up getting hurt because I can't brace properly. So that's why I like to do my high intensity right out the gate. Now I do another high intensity movement, but it's not like a barbell row or anything of the sort. Again, like I said in a previous video, I'm not too concerned about the range of motion. I'm more concerned about the amount of tension on the muscle and how long I can continuously keep the tension on the muscle. So whether it's a full range of motion or partial reps, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to do everything I can to try to get as much tension for as long as I possibly can until the muscle is so gassed it cannot perform that anymore. I don't do this with every single workout. I don't do this with every single set. I do this only as needed and when I have energy to perform this type of set. So next week I might come in. So I did this for 2 exercises tonight. Next week I might come in and I might only do it for 1 exercise instead of 2. I might have energy, so I might do it for 3 exercises instead of 2, or I might be so worn out, I may not even do it at all. I might just do more of a high volume approach to give my body a rest and a break from doing the high intensity, because what I've learned is when the gas is hot, you have to cook. There is no right time and there is no, I mean, you can program like high intensity days and you could program like weeks where it's like, you know, today is high intensity, but what if you go into the gym, you didn't get enough sleep, you didn't get enough hydration, you're super busy at work, you have a physically laboring job, you're tired and exhausted from your day at work. Are you going to go into the gym and you're going to push with everything you absolutely have? And you're probably going to be tired. You're probably going to be exhausted. And you're probably not going to have the energy to push like you would. So instead of having a bad workout with weights that you can't handle that night, just change up the tempo and do something different like high volume. So I don't go off of based on a scheduled routine like, okay, I got to do 4 weeks of high intensity, 2 weeks of low intensity, high volume. It's literally play by ear. So after that movement, barbell rows, I'm doing high close grip pull downs. I do 4 sets of 12 to 15 on these, just straight sets through, nothing crazy. I didn't record the whole set. I just recorded some of each set. From there, I move to my third movement of the night, which is my second high intensity. I like to do high intensity, high volume, high intensity, high volume typically. So this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do 12, 8, 4, and then I go into a rest pause with this one. I don't do drops. I just do 3 rest pause because at the end of that last rest pause, my back was so gassed. I was just kind of like, okay, I'm done. And you'll see what I did differently towards the end of it. You'll see here in a second. So back to what I was saying. So like I said, I play by ear because if my body is capable of lifting intensity, I lift with intensity. If my body needs more volume and more of a break, I do that. And I find this keeps my progress moving forward. It keeps me from having routine fatigue, and it just keeps me overall interested in what I'm doing because it's not so dogma where it's like, okay, well, I have to do this for the next 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks and there's no way around it. That's just not true. Okay, this is my top set right here. So you'll see on the first few rest pause. So this is the first one all the way through. I don't remember how many reps I did. You guys can count them if you want. I counted them when I was doing them, but I really don't remember what I actually did. But I try to stay upright. I try to pull with my back. I don't try to pull with my arms. I try to pull with my shoulders and my lats, and I try to squeeze as hard as I can, pinching my shoulder blades together without pulling with my biceps. So if you imagine pulling with your elbows instead of pulling with your hands or your arms, you can actually position the elbows in different angles, and you'll feel it in a different place in your back, like putting your elbows in or putting your elbows out. And then try to imagine squeezing your elbows back and together, and you'll feel it completely different than flaring your elbows out and up. Okay, so this is the last rest pause right here. I try to go as many as I can with strict form, and then I just can't. So now I'm going to use some body English. I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and try to get a couple extra reps, use a little bit of hip movement, so that way I could get a couple more reps in there, keep a little bit more tension on the muscle, get a deeper of a stretch, and then just continue to push through. I don't think the stretch is as important as people make it out to be. I think a lot of people get carried away with how deep your stretch needs to be. I think it's more about the contraction and the tension on the muscle, not the stretch. The stretch is important, but if you're overstretching your muscles and you're stretching too far and you're pulling your socket out of place, or if you're putting your joint in a bad position or a bad angle, you can start fraying your tendons, you can start wearing down the connective tissue, and you can start causing more injury, like, and more pain, like problems than lost my train of thought. You get what I'm trying to say? I'm not even going to try to reword that. You guys get what I'm saying. It could do more damage than good if you try to do too big of a stretch. If something's clicking or popping and you start getting like a nerve pain, it's not good to keep pushing through that range of motion, that stretch. You probably need to stop that exercise and do something different and figure out a different plane of motion where it doesn't cause that issue, because that's going to develop into something later. So this movement right here, I actually did 4 sets of 15, 15, 12, 12, because I was so worn out. I just recorded the last 2 sets, and then we're getting into the posing here. So my legs are definitely coming along. My midsection still sucks, but is a lot better at this body weight, being at 238 this morning. You can still see a lot more definition in my legs, my shoulders, my chest, the width of my back. And this is, like I said, the absolute leanest that I have been at this body weight. So I'm actually really happy with the progress. I know I still need a lot of work. It's far from complete. It's far from where I want to be. There's no imagination that like I need to get more lean and I need to put on more mass at my weight. But I think the symmetry is coming along. I think the proportions are really well. And I think I'm starting to actually be able to see like my weak areas and what needs to be developed and what needs to be brought up. But I think the biggest issue for me is definitely my midsection. I just have a very thick, blocky midsection. And if I can get that down, it's going to make the V taper better. It's going to make me look wider and more symmetrical. Plus, it'll make my legs look wider. It'll make my V taper look wider. I mean, I could sit here and pick myself apart 1,000 different ways and explain everything that's wrong with my physique, and I'm sure you guys can too, but I'm working on it day by day, and it is definitely getting better and better. But right now, the goal is just getting lean enough to be able to see my 4-pack or hopefully 6-pack without losing too much muscle mass. And I'm going with a soft cut and then a soft bulk and a soft cut and a soft bulk, and it's slowly paying off, and my results are really starting to show. So I'm getting a little bit more excited about this progress. And this has been like 2 years coming of bulking and cutting. It just takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort to be able to put the size and the mass on. Well, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching.